Alright, we got all good with short Barkley.
Younger
Actually,
NBA fans think of Charles Barkley as the funny analyst on Inside the NBA. Maybe not
dude
fully
was a
realizing
demon in the NBA. That's
the
one thing
player
I
he
know.
really was. Barkley is one of the best power forwards to ever play.
And
And he
Barkley,
remains
the
one of
greatest
best
player to
players
never
that
win a
never
ring.
won an NBA title. Here's the career retrospective of Sir Charles
Just
Barkley.
like
How
Westbrook,
good was he
James
really in his
Harden.
prime? And where does he rank among the all-time greats? Pre-NBA. Charles Barkley was born and raised in Leeds, Alabama, and he spent most of his childhood playing basketball and eating. As a junior in high school,
And
he weighed
eating.
240
What the
pounds at
fuck?
5'10". Nobody thought that he
That
would
was so
make it as a
unnecessary,
player,
bro.
even though he grew to 6'4" during the summer. His weight also ballooned, and Barkley had cleared the 300-pound mark. Even at that size, Charles was still unbelievably jumpy and mobile, which got him a scholarship
You
from
don't
the
even look
University
big.
of Auburn, then
You look
exclusively
normal,
known for
bro.
football. In college, Barkley still had a lot of trouble with weight and would often order multiple pizzas almost every night.
What?
And by the morning, there would remain nothing but the carton boxes in which they came in. Assistant coach
Still don't
Tony
look that
Smith
big, though.
called the general opinion on Barkley during his Auburn days. He's fat, but on the court, he's like a hurricane. He clears out everything in front of him. Barkley's trademark play was grabbing the rebound, dribbling the full length of the court, and then finishing with a thunderous jam at the
Man,
other
this is
end.
what this is
Charles
something
played
about
center
looking
at
like
Auburn and led the Southeastern Conference in
back in the
rebounding
day. You
and
feel me?
finishing
Like the way he looks and everything.
despite being shorter than every other center by at least 4 or 5 inches. Because of his hefty posterior and crazy athleticism, he earned himself the nickname the Round Mound of Rebounds, which stuck for the rest of his
He
career.
does look big, bro.
Charles
He got a
averaged 14.8
well-rounded face,
points,
bro.
68% shooting, 9.6 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 1.7 blocks per game in college, and led the Auburn Tigers to their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament in 1984. This earned him a place in the second All-American team and the 5th pick in the 1984 NBA draft, where the Philadelphia 76ers selected him in the best draft class in history. Moses, and adjusting to the NBA. Barkley didn't want to get drafted by the Sixers because he thought he would only be able to make $75,000 because of Philadelphia's salary cap situation. So, he intentionally went on a 2-day eating binge just before the draft so that the Sixers would pass on him and that he could earn more money somewhere
No
else.
way, yo, that
However,
worked.
The Sixers selected him despite Barkley weighing over 300 pounds. But when the season started, Charles found out that he couldn't dominate the NBA being 50 pounds overweight. Unlike Michael Jordan, who got drafted in the same draft class by the perpetual lottery team in Chicago Bulls, Barkley came into a veteran team who had just won the NBA championship in 1983. In Philly, he was schooled by 2 future Hall of Famers, Julius Erving and Moses Malone.
Holy
It was Malone
shit.
who became Barkley's primary mentor and the person who had the biggest influence on his NBA career. "You're fat and you're lazy," Moses said to Barkley during his rookie year. If anybody else had said that to him, a fiery 22-year-old Charles would have probably cursed him out and kept eating pizzas. But because Moses Malone was a 3-time NBA MVP and the Finals MVP from the 1983 championship team, Barkley had no other choice but to listen. He trimmed down to 250 pounds, which has more or less been his playing weight throughout the best years of his career. And even though he wasn't bad as a rookie, averaging 14 points and 8.6
That's not
rebounds
bad
per
at
game,
all, bro.
after he lost those 50 pounds, he averaged 20 and 13 as a sophomore.
Holy shit.
Leader of the team and early playoff exits. After Barkley's second season in the NBA, the 76ers decided to trade Moses Malone and give the team's reins to Barkley, which was a huge mistake. It's not that Barkley wasn't capable of carrying a team at that point, but the fact was that Moses had a lot of good basketball left in the tank. Big Mo was an all-star in the next 3 years in Washington and Atlanta.
No
averaging
way.
21 points and 12 rebounds.
Why would you trade him
The players that
then?
the Sixers got in
What?
return didn't pan out, and Barkley might have won a championship in those 3 years with Moses. Instead, he became by far the best player on the team, which was great for the stat sheet, but he lacked the quality support to make it far in the playoffs.
Man.
After Dr. J's retirement in 1987, the Sixers didn't win a playoff series in 4 years, despite stellar performances from Barkley. Sir Charles averaged 26 points and 12
That's a lot. That's an
rebounds
all-star
from
caliber.
1986 to 1991. And each
Matter of fact,
season, he was
superstar
in the
caliber.
NBA top
26
10
points back in the
both
day.
scoring and rebounding.
Averaging as
He led the
well?
league in true shooting
Sheesh.
percentages 4 years in a row in that span. Along with 4 assists, he was dishing out every night. By the end of the 80s, Chuck was not far behind Magic and Jordan in the contention for the best basketball player alive. However, frustration grew over the Sixers' management's inability to build a good team. Barkley had the biggest mouth in the entire league, and he often criticized the organization's leadership and regularly expressed his dissatisfaction in the media.
Yeah, one thing about Chuck, bro, he doesn't give a fuck. You say what you think, bro.
As well as quarrels with fans, both home and away. It didn't matter. It all culminated in January of 1991 when he responded to insults from the stands by spitting at the man who insulted him. But instead, he spat on the little girl sitting in that part of the stands. That incident changed him forever, as he vowed never to lose control like that again.
Man, I was gonna say, bro.
Season, Barkley was named an All-Star for the 6th year in a
I was
row.
gonna say, that's
The Sixers
wild.
failed to make the playoffs. Charles was fed up, and the Sixers finally gave in and traded him to Phoenix. Dream Team, MVP, and a trip to the finals. Charles was among the 12 players to represent the USA during the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona, the first time ever that Americans had sent pro players to the Olympics. Charles was the best player on the Dream Team, leading the team in scoring with
Damn, I didn't know that.
on a phenomenal 71% shooting. After he won the gold in Barcelona, Barkley arrived in Phoenix in the best shape of his life. He never looked better. He never sounded more immersed in basketball, and his confidence was through the roof. Because for the first time since he was a rookie, he had a quality collection of teammates to accompany him. The Suns were led by him and fellow All-Stars Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson, and won 62 games in the regular season.
Whoa.
The best record in the NBA, with 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists on average. Barkley deservingly won the Most Valuable Player award for the 92-93 season. Chuck was fantastic throughout the playoffs, especially in the West Finals against the Sonics, where he pushed the Suns to victory with a triple-double in Game 7. In the finals,
Man.
Barkley and the Suns were awaited by Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, who were aiming for a three-peat. The 93 Finals is among the best final series in NBA history, where Jordan, Pippen, and Barkley played the best basketball of their careers. Chicago stole the first 2 wins in Phoenix. The Suns got the third game after 3 overtimes. In the fourth, Michael Jordan dropped 55 points for a close Bulls win.
God damn, bro.
Arizona for 2 deciding games. In Game 6, the Suns had a 2-point lead with 15 seconds to go. But then John Paxson showed up and hit a 3 for the Bulls' 3rd championship title. Despite not excelling in all 6 matches, Barkley showed all the splendor of his talent.
Man,
The transition,
there's nothing you could have
great
done, bro.
understanding of geometry on the floor, the physical strength, the post-up game, mid-range shooting, and of course, rebounding. He also showed a tremendous amount of heart and will to win. And although MJ defeated him in a direct clash, Barkley proved that he certainly had the right to put his hands on the MVP trophy that season. Chuck finished the series with averages of 27.3, 13, 5.5,
Holy
and
shit.
48% shooting, which didn't even paint the picture of how good and dominant he was that year. Finals years and playoff disappointments. Barkley was crushed by the defeat against the Bulls. A blank stare at the press conference after the finals said it all. The Suns had 2 more great seasons, but they lost twice in a row against the later champions Houston Rockets, after holding a 2-0 and 3-1 lead. Barkley then got into a beef with Kevin Johnson, and that shattered the Suns team, one of the best who failed to win the title. Barkley healed his wounds with another Olympic gold medal in 1996, where he was again the top scorer of the U.S. Olympic team.
Shit, at least he got them gold medals, bro.
2% from the field.
Oh no.
Chuck then went to Houston to try and win a championship with Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon, but the trio were no longer in their prime and could not make it to another NBA Finals. Barkley spent 4 years in Houston, and his production slowly but surely dropped in each of those 4 years. A quadriceps rupture sidelined him for 4 months in his last NBA season, but Charles returned because he wanted to leave the game on his own legs. He scored the last basket of his career after an offensive rebound against the Vancouver Grizzlies, after which he left the floor and finally said goodbye to basketball. Legacy. In 1986, Barkley became the shortest player in league history to win the NBA rebounding title with 14.6
There was a rebound
rebounds per
title?
game. At 6'5",
Is it
Barkley
still
was
there?
rebounding 7-footers on the regular. And bear in mind that he played in the golden era of NBA centers. Barkley never averaged less than 10 rebounds per game after his rookie season. And because he did this at 6'5", many believe that he was the best rebounder that ever played, together with Dennis Rodman. He often told me,
Don't
"Just
tell,
catch
Ben
it,
Wallace
put it back in
can.
the basket." It was mostly like that. His desire to catch the rebound was the biggest I've ever seen in my life, said Hersey Hawkins, Charles's teammate for 4 seasons. Chuck was unstoppable in transition, very similar to LeBron James, as nobody would dare to put their body in front of a 250-pound freight train when he
Bro, that's what Zion should be, bro. Zion just this nigga. No one needs hitting every single day like Barkley. That wouldn't be that much of a problem. But this nigga messing with OnlyFans models, bro.
When he got the ball
Oh man.
Post, there was almost nothing that defense could do to stop him. Barkley combined his huge butt with astonishing explosiveness and scored almost without fail against
Zion is definitely one of the biggest what if, bro. If he had the dedication and everything, bro.
Which is proven by the career average of 4 assists per game.
This is not a buzz, but it's kind of a one low key. Nigga was people were saying it was gonna be the next LeBron and all that. Look at what happened, bro. You feel me? He's low key a buzz.
The 5 best players at his position and 50 best overall. Other than his stellar play on the court, Barkley had arguably the most colorful and controversial.
He's just a decent player now.
History. He was one of the best trash talkers ever, and this man would be arguing during the game with his coach, teammates, opponents, referees, and fans. And then he would deliver a cold-blooded performance of, say, 25 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists on 70% shooting. As he was in deep focus throughout the game. With Barkley, it has never been boring. Chuck had the habit of expressing his opinion at any cost, no matter how much it clashed with good taste and social norms. You could never guess what kind of controversial statement Barkley would.
That's what being yourself is. That's why everybody love him.
And teammates, but he often laughed at himself, which translated to an exceptional TV career on TNT's Inside the NBA. With his quick thinking, humor, and the absolute lack of filter, Chuckster changed sports television forever and became the best sports analyst in TV history, despite the fact he can't pronounce many of the current players' names, nor recognize half of them.
Hey, man.